Excuse me. Hey, what's going on, party people? Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Now, if this is the first time here, it's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, what I do here, guys, as a spiritual healer, is that I help people to attain their highest level of consciousness. And what that means pretty much, to attain your highest level of consciousness simply means you becoming Christ like. It's you becoming the Buddha like. In fact, what you call Jesus, or to be Jesus like or Krishna like, what that means is it's simply, it's a representation of anyone who has attained that highest level of consciousness. So, that's pretty much what I do. Now, the way that I go about, helping you to attain your highest level of consciousness is by first becoming mentally and emotionally balanced. And obviously, the whole purpose of doing that is, just so you could attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, and that's the only way for you to attain your highest level of consciousness. Because the minute you become separated within yourself, let's just say hypothetically, you become very mental, and you tend to suppress your emotions. By the way, just so you guys know, I mean that's the foundation for toxicity. But I mean, the minute you start suppressing your emotions, that's the recipe for toxicity. Because eventually, what's going to happen is, I mean, all toxic or you know actually came from that close, that part of them being close, not acknowledged, not addressed, and it kind of goes from there. I mean, that's the foundation of it, just so you guys know. But anyway, going back to being too mental and not being, too emotional, you become very much rigid. You become like stone cold, like Judge Dredd, like I like to call it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like everything is very black and white, whereas, adding a little bit of emotions into it allows you to, you know, broaden up pretty much your, or to expand your consciousness a little bit more. It pretty much, what the emotional part of it does is that it adds values to it. It helps you to see it a little bit better than face value. It doesn't make it any stupid, but it's to be smart and then also acknowledge. That's what they call it, being emotionally intelligent. It's using your emotions correctly. you know? You know what I'm saying? And for you to do that, you would need to be emotionally balanced. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? Like the connection, how your emotions have an impact on your. But if your emotions, I mean, if you're depressed, you're not in your good mood. Like you're not gonna have the best or the clearest, state of mind. That's why they always tell you, what I'm saying, before you sign any paper, just make sure. I mean, if you're mad, take a break. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you don't want to make a fucking and such a fucking impulsive action. And what this is telling you is that you want to be in charge of your emotions. But most importantly, you could do something that you will regret. But most importantly, you're not in your best state of mind. You don't see it clearer. Take your time. you know what I'm saying? So all of that again, that's why you have to become emotionally and mentally balanced. For you to now have a broader perspective, or a broader understanding, or attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, when I'm talking about being emotionally balanced, what I'm also talking about here is for you to acknowledge your emotions, not to suppress them, but most importantly, to understand them. I mean, the whole aspect of you embracing your emotions is saying that, I'm sorry, it's saying pretty much that you understand how you feel. And as part of you, let's just say, doing your shadow work, as I will be talking about shortly when I get into the spiritual side or the whole occult that's helping you to deal with, it's those manuals, right? That's helping you to deal with, the invisible side of you that you're not conscious of. So it's helping you pretty much to become conscious of those aspects of you. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you have a chakra, you have a subconscious mind, you have a third eye. Like all of these things are things that you are, what you're doing when we're talking about the occult. That's what that is. It's helping you to acknowledge those aspects, and it's doing it through those sacred understanding. And but anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But going back to your emotions, that's what you have to acknowledge. But as part of your shadow work, then later on you'll get to, understand the consequences, which is, you know how to say in the occult, we do say, in fact, you have to heal the wounded child. But for you to do that, you have to understand that child pain. And then now you have to address it as the new you addressing now the old you. So technically, any stone that is left unturned, as you growing, you have to go back and put everything back in order. I mean, that's what the whole shadow work is all about. But a big part of you doing your shadow work is also dealing with your emotions. And meaning, in other words, the part of your emotions now you're dealing with is it's emotions are energy, and there's messages, intelligence in those messages. You know what I'm saying? It's like the first time you burn your fingers, you remember not to put your hands there. Like there's messages. You know what I'm saying? And Mhm. So again, it's a whole process to it, right? It's not, as easy or as simple. It's not. That's why it has nothing to do. Let's just say, as you not raising your voice or you behaving a certain way. I mean, that has nothing to do with being emotionally in charge of you. If anything, that may be you wearing a mask. You know what I'm saying? Or a good part of being a deceiver too. Is that type of control, is that type of behavior. You know what I'm saying? Which has nothing to do with you addressing your true shit and truly understanding that. But anyway, obviously, I mean, becoming emotionally balance entails a whole process of you understanding what your emotions are, you getting in touch with, you got burnt, like, okay, what does that mean, like how are you dealing with it. Yes, you put your hands here, it tells you not to put your hands again. Okay, why? What's going on here? Is there any way, if I wanted to put my hands again, how would I have to do it next time? You see what I'm saying? Like there's so many different things now. That's now at this point. You are. I mean, you pretty much in charge of your emotions now. You understand your emotional pattern. In fact, now you are creating your pattern, and ultimately, I mean, that's where you need to get. I mean, really to be emotionally balanced is for you to master your own emotions. Now, in addition to that, or simultaneously as you're doing that for your emotions, you also got to do the same thing for your mental. And to be mentally balanced, you have to understand how your own mind works. How is your mind being conditioned? And in fact, as you see in the title tonight, oh man, we're gonna go a lot more into that part. Because when we're talking about being in this world and not of the world, I mean, Oh man, you know what I'm saying? Stay tuned. I got you. But most importantly, for you, you have to be, you have to be in control of all, and acknowledge all of these things, because as you becoming mentally balanced, is you becoming more aware of yourself. So, meaning you would have to understand society. You would have to understand how is society shaping you, not just society, but I mean society in different economic groups like culture, television and all that shit. You have to see how, I mean, the impact and how is that. Do you see what I'm saying? And then, I mean, the whole aspect of you under being acknowledge. I mean, acknowledging that whole aspect of it. It's just so that you maintain who you are, or you maintain a highest level of consciousness, but most importantly a highest level of mental, because now you're able to transcend or to use, I mean, but most importantly you aware of how your mind is being conditioned, because without you doing that, how would you condition your own mind? And that's why you have to understand culture, because culture plays a big part in how you think, how you see life, how you define your reality. In other words, your state of thinking. Like, to become mentally balanced, you have to acknowledge that. But anyway, if you're coming back, you already know it's nothing but love. You know what we do here, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, man, I do this for you. You know what I'm saying? Those of you who keep coming back, and those of you who are just now coming on board, welcome. You know what I'm saying? So, in a nutshell, as a spiritual healer, that's pretty much what I do. Now, as part of my routine, guys, if this is your first time, I normally take a minute, and if you're coming back too, you already know. I always like to take a minute just to talk about spirituality real quick, because spirituality pretty much is what I used as a spiritual healer, to make some of the points that I make. It's like I'm trying to tell you, just like we were talking about being mentally balanced. I'm telling you, what I'm saying, the mirror, how I got myself balanced. What I'm saying? But it's pretty much when we talk about knowledge in general, it's in us. So what we're doing here, I'm helping you to see it in you. That's why, as a spiritual healer, we're helping you to reconnect, to remember, come back home. It's been said in so many ways, but what that is pretty much telling you is to wake you up, or for you to see, become more conscious of you, or for you to see you in you. Okay, there was a whole lot that was said here. But in a nutshell, I always talk about spirituality for a second, as a premise, as the main shit. Technically I'm letting dude, that's where I got my shit from. And that's why I think this way, and that's why this is what this is. Do you see what I'm saying? So when we talking about spirituality, now it's it's you, it's me, it's us. In the word spirituality, you see spirit. When you're talking about spirit, it's pretty much a living mind, a living thinking thing, how, as I like to call it. But pretty much, it's a part of us that is more than what we appear to be. This is us acknowledging, when we talk about spirituality, pretty much, our true essence. Now, spirituality now is telling you the story of your essence. For, what I'm saying, like all of us, we are energy. I mean, we're not saying that we don't have a body. Yes, we do. But ultimately, we are more than just what we appear to be. Or if you want to say we have a body, we also have a spirit as real as this motherfucking body. In fact, you know what I'm saying? Everything stems from our spirit. And everything we do, from our speech, from us, you know what I'm saying, having the ability to think, all of these things about us. From the way we learn, from the way we are, it reveals like certain things about us. One thing for sure, two things for certain is that it definitely reveals that there is more to what we look like. And that's why we are a mystery in itself. Even when we're getting to know someone else, for you to know somebody else, yes, you do know what they look like. But to truly know somebody is to know their character too, isn't it not? Isn't it more of that anyway? When we say such and such is a whole, it's based on what we see that goes beyond what they look like. So no matter how much they try to disguise, nigga, we know you a hoe, bitch. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Shit, but who you kidding? Stop wasting my time. Oh shit. So, man, we're saying all of that to say, when you take all of that into account, or when we study even everything that we do, the way we talk to each other, what we're saying, and how we truly operate. For instance, you want to change your life or change your thinking. You know, Napoleon Hill had a book, Think and Grow Rich. Like, this guy's just telling you, man, like, think big, think differently. You have so many guys, even in so many things, that's telling you, your life is based on what you know. You know better, you do better. Another way of saying that, you know what I'm saying? That's why you have to elevate. The thing you get about, hard work is who you become. The beholder. That's what needs to grow. Your perspective, your character, your consciousness. But all of these things are being said about us, but you know what I'm saying? But yet, they reveal that who we are. We are a living mind, man. When you have mind control over people, you control the people. You control their God, you control the people. You understand? Listen, man. You better choose your God wisely. Oh, very wisely. You know what I'm saying? But when you truly become the creator, and that's where I'm leading you. You get to pick your own God, because you understand that is a reflection of you. Because you only can act the way your God acts, and that goes for everybody. Look at what the Christian do is based on what their God tells them to do. Their God creates their environment. This is the only book, the great book. What do they say? The same thing. The holy book, great book, and all that shit. Jesus said, spread the word. What do? They go out there and do the exact same thing. want you to understand that. So God for me, that's why I embody all of those different aspects. They really sharpen up my tools. And that's what they're supposed to do when you know you are the creator. But that's for the grown folks. That's after you start growing some teeth. Then we can have that type of conversation. This is for the grown men. Take your time, man. We're going to get there. Don't worry. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you just keep that in mind. So again, when we're talking about spirituality, it's ultimately your life, how you see things. Even in terms of religion, that's why spirituality embody it all. Because now it's telling the story of the spirit. Throughout the ages, throughout different mythologies, or different gods, different race, different religion, is all speak the same different language the of spirituality. That's why no matter where you go, no matter what continent that you go, or nationality or race, people are talking about God. People are talking about the Spirit. This is our essence, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shit. That's why the biggest misconception about spirituality, and that's why we helping you to be conscious. But out of ignorance, you not knowing who you are, you could never make that connection. And here's the crazy shit. You go through life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how can you be so hard-headed? Truly. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, how can you be so dead, man? You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But ultimately, that's the work that we're doing. That's why another way of saying this too. That's why this type of language, this type of knowledge is for the livings. Now, when we're talking about the livings, we're talking about those, not the living corpse. Obviously, yes, you're alive, but it's to acknowledge a deeper aspect of you. So, yes, you're alive, you eating, you shitting, but in addition to that, then now your existence. Whereas what you call the living corpse, someone who was trained to look at themselves or who was conditioned, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight too, who was conditioned to only look at who you are just as dick and pussy. Whereas everything in life, those signs are there. In fact, the reason why I'm even talking about this is because, that's what the acknowledgement of these things are. We're helping you to wake up to things that were already around you. That's why you have to develop your inner vision. That's why for you to see better outside, you gotta have your inner vision. So again, so even to talk about this ordinary life, that's why it's not what it appears to be. That's why the Indian call it this world Maya. Now you have quantum physics. Look that shit up. That's telling you what you calling matter, it's condensed energy. And that's the type of shit that should really bug your mind the fuck up. Like, you should just black out on that. That's the type of shit you should be like, can you say that again? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all your life you're thinking these are matter. Quantum physics, which is material science, is telling you Just like we understand, like there's no body without you. If there's no spirit, you have no body. So you could listen and hear this because my spirit is in this body. The minute my spirit is out, that's what death is. you know what I'm saying? And that's why we say so many things about this body too. It is an extension of your consciousness. That's why we radiate in it. That's why we talk about the chakras. That's how we know the minute you understand that there's no separation between you and your body. That's how we understand a strong mind, a strong body. Come on, people. Y'all gotta catch up. I'm feeling some shit today. I guess I'm preaching in the choir. Get your medicine, man. Oh, I gotta go one more time. Mm, that was good right there. So that goes to say, or that goes to show that and that's what consciousness is about too. And consciousness requires that you go beyond the appearance because our true essence goes beyond what dick and pussy than what you look like. And that, my friend, it's not a philosophy. That is not an ideology. That is actual life experiencing. That's you, that's me, and that's everybody else. Now, for the livings to be alive, it's for you now to acknowledge that and cultivating your life in accordance to that. You living off of that. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, make it, and then now, and the whole spirituality, in the whole story. Now, the part of spirituality, now the occult is a part of spirituality that deals with what we call the hidden side of you, the hidden aspect of you. For instance, when we talking about you having a subconscious mind, you having a third eye, those are aspect of you that goes beyond yourself. Now the occult is helping you to become conscious of that. That's also part of, and that's what spirituality is and does as well. But now the occult is dealing with giving you what is called those esoteric knowledge to help you to understand these things about you. Oh, y'all gonna wake the fuck up today. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all gonna wake the fuck up today. That's why we do this. For you to now start to, acknowledge that aspect of you. Start looking at yourself from that other part of you to expand your consciousness. Instead of looking at yourself from just a physical perspective, now to acknowledge these things, acknowledge those God qualities or those divine qualities in you. And as you start to see them, now you embrace them. Now you made out of the darkness comes the light. Now you have also manifested out of the darkness comes this being. That's why when we talk about being religious, is that representation. That's who I am. That's what I'm doing here. Do you understand? Well, y'all gonna wake the fuck up today. That's what I do. But most importantly, that's the purpose. That's what we're all doing here. Now, as gatekeepers, or as whatever you want to call us, or you know what I'm saying. Now we came here to help you to reconnect, to give you the ultimate, like, to by holding the mirror of wisdom, so you could see who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's waking you up with music. But this journey has to go inward. That's why we understand that, and that's what spirituality does, and that's what I use in spirituality, and that's what spirituality is pretty much, and that's what I do as a spiritualist. I mean, that's what spirituality is, dog. That's where I got my shit from, and that's what we do this for. So the understanding, I mean, it stems out of that, out of life. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this is also for the livings, because if you're not yet on the level for you to see listen, beholder, you are the beholder. Because beauty is defined by you. To the pure, all is pure. Oh, it's that way, beloved. Hey, I wish there was another way. It's on you. Your level of consciousness defines your reality. That's just the way it goes. So is so is your God. So again, you gotta choose him wisely. You better as wise as your God. But then again, that's a whole other conversation. Now, with all of that being said, let's tap into what we came here to talk about, right? So, as you guys see in the title, being in this world but not of this world. Now, this is something you would hear. There's similar statements that a lot of, let's just say, spiritualists or anybody who start to acknowledge who they are, we tend to, or it kind of sounds like they tend to separate themselves from this world. And it's almost like, and that could be another misconception too. And that's why a lot of you motherfuckers, you can't really truly relate, spirituality to you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, but anyway, that could all be all part of it. But anyway, um, it's almost like, so it's almost, what I'm saying. So it, I'm pretty much gonna talk about that. You know what I'm saying? But most importantly, I guess the point that I was trying to make here was, we're gonna delve into. It's like it's not done by. There's no malicious reason behind it. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not like there's a separation, or you'll see. I mean, it may occur or it may look that way, but in essence, that's what I'm going to be talking about here, right? So, but for the most part, I could definitely say this. I know for me personally, it's not necessarily that statement doesn't mean there's a separation between you and I, or the people who somehow who they are, and they're like, "Oh, you a zombie, stay away from me." Or, I mean, the whole, it's not, that's not the purpose. You see what I'm saying? Like, in fact, that's why when you become, truly, you have, when you attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, what that does for you, it gives you compassion, because now, because you know who you are, I'm able to relate to somebody else. Meaning, I could feel you, dog. I can understand you. I mean, I may not be going through, or you not, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I probably went through it before you. I'm not in it anymore, or whatever the reason is. But I can relate, bro. And because I can relate, you know what I'm saying? It's not because I think I'm better than you, but you know what I'm saying? It helped me to sympathize. You know what I'm saying? I ain't judging you, dog. You know what I'm saying? I know you had your mouth open. It happens. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby. I'm not here to judge you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and here's something else too. That's why I always talk about, when we talking about sanity, becoming spiritual or attain your highest level of consciousness. That's truly how you maintain your sanity in this insane world. I mean, because this is a mental institution, and the only way for you to see it right, that's why this is the land of the lost, and that's why the Maya calls it the illusion, and that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about too in just a second. Because while we talking about, let's just say, about being in this world, you know what I'm saying? We are also saying that there's also a state of mind that 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 it's the level of consciousness that makes you, that's how you wake up. To be the Christ like is attain a highest level of consciousness pretty much. And that consciousness entails you understanding the world in a whole different aspect. Whereas someone who's a living corpse who doesn't have that same level of consciousness, but now I have the compassion for that person because I understand that we are both living minds. And that's why also I'm here, you know what I'm saying, helping you to look at yourself. So I'm saying one, when you hear the statement of being of the world and being in the world but not of the world, that statement is not necessarily saying, let's just say, if you're spiritually conscious, that you're greater, or we somehow feel like, you know what I'm saying, fuck these motherfuckers, we're going to Candyland. You know what I'm saying? You're going to Candyland. That's where I'm heading. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to eat my candies. Y'all bad motherfuckers. Gotta, yeah, man. Keep your hands off my cookie jars. You know what I'm saying? Keep your hands off, man. You know, man. Get your finger, get your hands out of here. You know what I'm saying? Another way of saying this, that's what judgment is. You're gonna have to put up with it. Oh, you're gonna have to live. Hey, we all gotta go through it. We all gotta deal with the consequences of our actions, man. You live with your actions. And you listen, you could lie with it for a long time. Listen, don't worry about it. All you were doing is adding more to yourself, but you didn't know it though. You thought you were slicky. No, you were adding charges to your own charges. And now your charges is gonna be crazy. So all you were doing, you never got away with it. You were just adding more dumb shit to your life. So it's like you know how to lose, man. That's what makes you a loser. You truly know how to lose. Oh my God! Like, hey, listen, I gotta give it up to you. It's like no matter what, you're not gonna win, huh? you, you made up your mind. Hey, listen, again, that's where my compassion is. Like, wow. I mean, hey, it's your life. Is it not? What can I do with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. Why are you doing this to yourself? Again, I don't know. Like, there has to be, I mean, I can't relate. I gotta respect it. All right. I mean, shit. What you eat don't make me shit. So, hey. You know, wow. Well, hey, listen, man. It's like I'm like, hey, that was her choice, man. What can I do? You know what I'm saying? Wow. It's like, well, I guess I hope other people can learn from those choices. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like, wow. I mean, wow. Like, like in Haiti, we like to say, Calisto, I'm sure, like pretty much telling you, look at that person's story. You know what I'm saying? The state of mind that comes with it and how they decided to paint the picture of their life. You know what I'm saying? That's the story you chose for yourself, dog. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's your story. You see, when you understand that, then you strive to be the best. But for you to be the best, you got to be the best. Or to become the best. You see what the thing is? Yo, you are the beholder. Know who you are. So again, we're talking about our essence. But anyway, going back to the conversation at hand, I apologize. But that's the point. Fuck the whole conversation. That's what you need to wake up to. And that's what awakening is. That's what you need to acknowledge. And that's your growth. That's an eye opening for you. Listen, that is literally. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yo, you got it. Right there. You know what I'm saying? That way. Listen. Now, mm, it's we're talking differently now. The conversation is different. And that's ultimately the goal, guys. For you to know who you are, truly. But anyway, going back to the conversation at hand. So we were saying because there's a lot that comes with that statement. Obviously, it's not to say, let's just say, the living corpse. In fact, when we say namaste, we acknowledge, and in fact, there is a statement that's also say the people are perishing due to ignorance. So the compassion, the understanding, you know what I'm saying, us being in the world and not of the world. I mean, it's really not us trying to be like fuck you. We're not concerned. You know what I'm saying? Like when I say, let's just say for me personally, I don't vote. I mean, it's not to say I don't give a fuck. It's not to say, you know what I'm saying, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. In fact, like, listen, man, pay your taxes. That's it. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, nigga. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, hey. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is the belly of the beast, nigga. Otherwise, you want to save yourself? Holla at your boy. Got you. All right? I got you. So again, I mean, there's no animosity. There's no, but there's a understanding in it. In fact, this is, it's a fully not just loaded, but it's a statement that's also in harmony that is showing you, as you are in the world, but yet what that is implying pretty much is those duties, those ways of understanding. Because when we're talking about the world now, that's when you're gonna have to deal with society. You're talking about society's rules, right? Different nations, different societies, they have established certain rules for their society for people to be abide by. So that's why, as you becoming mentally balanced, these people that you are, I mean, that have created certain rules for us to be abide by, have pretty much trained you to think or to understand. They the one telling you about who you are. And who you are is what we tell you to be. Then now you're living in a society where you are no longer being who you are, but like they said, you're gonna be who we want you to be, and that's what society is doing for you. That's now you're living your life based on a fucking image, and on who you should be instead of who you are. So you have to acknowledge society when we're talking about this world, the understanding. That's why it's empirical, it's pivotal, it's a must that you understand your culture for you to be mentally balanced. Otherwise, you're just saying how they want you to think. And that's what all cultures do. And you have people that are already waiting for you from your birthday to rock you to sleep, for you to adapt these. That's how the culture survives, right? For you to adapt that mentality, for you to adapt that identity, for you to see life the way we have already established. And that's what the school system is. So dealing with your mental. So when you're dealing with society, you have to acknowledge all of these things. So as you acknowledging, and that's why then you start to realize, there is such a thing. We created a society where duality is the basis of that society. Meaning there's always a good and an evil, there's always a good and bad, there's always a win or loss, there's always a up and down. I mean, that's how we see things. Now, if you're using the occult now, then you would understand that's why we ate from the tree of good and evil. And that eating has to do with you ingesting or understanding or creating a life out of the understanding of good and evil. And there's consequences that comes with that way of thinking. But first, you got to understand what that way of thinking is. When we look at society, and that's what it's important for you to understand your culture. But most importantly, you know what I'm saying? And society, just like I was saying, they rocking you to bed because by the time you are even born, society's already created. If you, I mean, you could talk shit all you want, but the same thing I learned in school, my kids is probably still learning. My mom and dad learned, and it's the same bullshit. You know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit, but yet it is what it is. In other words, you also live in a society, just so you know, where you have no say. You think you do, but you don't. Because for you to have a say, you would have to be you. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's just the same shit, different days. You know what I'm saying? What you said was happening in the West, it's happening here. Like it's tomatoes, tomatoes. Like the rules have not changed. Even the laws are against you. You don't even see it. And this is no shot at no government, none of that shit. They're just telling you know how it is, nigga. That's all. I ain't gonna change anything either, nigga. You know what I'm saying? The rules are not all against you. And you better pay your taxes, nigga. You better pay your taxes. While you at it. If you see it, you see it. You don't see it, you don't see it. Again, tomatoes, tomatoes, man. Like being in the world and not of the world is having that understanding, but most importantly, but you're also knowing who you are, and that allows you to transcend that reality altogether. And that's why for us, I mean, what makes us different too, because there's a chain of reaction or a chain of actions that comes when you follow yourself. When you delve into you, you start to develop your inner vision. You are expanding, you are changing your consciousness is changing, it's becoming creative. You are, that's what growing is. It's almost like, yes, there's a physical interaction, but at the same time, we know how to, the purpose is to look beyond the veil. And that's why when you become conscious, you have to, the to conscious means is to materialize that consciousness, that Godhood thinking. It's like every day it's being in harmony with your action, your mental and everything. It's being in that alignment, and it's just insane. It's like it's a manifestation in itself, and and everything else is being given to you. If you know, you know. That's the sit on your throne, man. That's becoming the king, because that is a state of mind, and that's what the growth, the changes are. Being alive is, going through those life transformation, man. That's why this shit is for the living. If you're part of the living, hey, baby, you are welcome here. What we do here is for you. You know what I'm saying? And we're also inviting those who are somehow borderline trying to find who they are. Listen, it's all for you too. And that's why we say, if however you found this, listen, it was meant for you to see. And your soul is there's something taking place in you. Don't give up on yourself. That's when you and yourself gotta become one. And that's the whole journey. That's the whole conversation. And that's what spirituality is doing. Our ancestors did it and pass it down. Now that I got it and I'm sharing it, I'm passing it down. We're all passing down, you know what I'm saying? And that's when we understand, like, history is being written now, man. And that's what you gotta understand. I know for me, I wanted to give him something they never seen before. I mean, it's like I'm signing my name on this thing because I knew I'm alive. And that's what happens when you start living your reality too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta create. You gotta tell your story, and you cannot tell it better than I sell it, or you cannot sell it better than the way I tell it, baby. Why? Because it's my story. And that's what awakening is. Then you start looking at this reality from a different perspective. So, not being of this world, now you are no longer like, I mean, for me, society, it's not enough. And society in itself is destruction. That's where insanity is. That's what insanity is. Contrary to some spiritualist perspective, especially when it comes to Earth, right? It's almost like religion is selling you this way to escape. This is hell. No, it's not. We made it fucking hell, man. Out of ignorance, of course. Because now you have society that is instructing you how to be you, but they telling you how to be you instead of allowing you to be you. And that's why, just like I was saying, going back to it, I mean that's the essence, the effect of those behaviors. There's a lot of effects. When I talk about a chain of actions that comes with it, is the effect. Now that is the cause. Now when you thinking or when I'm acting like an image for me to be me, so now we have competition. We have better images to talk about. That's why in this society, greed, hatred, and delusion, it's pretty much what describe this. But truly, I would just say ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Like we're living in a society like we normalize greed, man. And you know what you call it? It's business, dog. I'm saying you legalize it when you say, "Did you sign the paper? It was a contract." That's what it's legalizing it, saying, "Nigga, I'm fucking you over, and it's legal, dog." Okay, it's legally fucking you up. That's what it is. I mean, obviously, not every contract or not just the baseline understanding of what a contract is, but do you get the point though in terms of legalizing it, making it normal, normalizing it? So that alone is showing you how crooked we are. But yet again, because you see it, you're insane, you don't see insanity. And that's the purpose. I mean, when you're toxic, you don't know you're toxic anyway. It's only when you're no longer toxic can you say. That's why for me, you'll see anybody who grows too, would always tell you anybody who made a significant change and in their life always have a story to say. I mean, always have a story to tell. I don't give a fuck who you are. Or what nationality you is neither. You're gonna have a story to tell. And that's just and that is also the essence of the spirit too. And that's what makes us all spirit. But anyway, going back to the conversation at hand here, right? I mean, it's almost like for me, that's why, again, we're talking about our essence too. I mean, it's hard for me not to acknowledge it. So again, this is truly us. I mean, this is also, although I'm talking about a specific subject, it's all spirituality because it's talking about you and me. Whoa. Our essence, our story, or storylines, however you want to call it. So, but because you're insane, you can't see it. So already this is fucked up. And that's what, if you remember Dave Chappelle, that's what he was trying to say, trying to help you to see. I was 17, 18 when I signed a contract, and just like every 17, 18, like what does he really know in business? Even a part of me was like, I hear you, nigga, but you signed a contract. You see that, but and this is how normal it is. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy, man. I mean, can a contract be fair at least? I mean, why do I gotta watch my back? You gotta watch your back. Isn't that crazy in itself? Why can't we just be? So it's almost, I mean, obviously, and it takes more work and it creates more damages when you're not being yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the suffering comes from. That's why you having anxiety. Your breakdowns is because you not being you. You can't be fucking, and I mean, you can't be really satisfied. You're not happy. How can you? You're not living either. Your life has no meaning. I get it. You see for me, that's where my compassion comes from. You know what I'm saying? I could see all of that. I'm like, but on your end, on your side, oh yeah, you wilding like a motherfucker. That's what insane is. And you do most of the insane shit since you're already insane and you're gonna get more insane. What else can you do? You know what I'm saying? It's like a pig's gonna be a pig. Might as well be a pig. And be a pig. But that has to do with me though. It's just it's almost like it's another, you know how to say to the pure, all is pure. It's just another occasion for me. It's just another way that makes me look even better. And that's when I tell you do it again. You know what? Do it again. Hold on, let me take a picture. Because I look so good when you motherfuckers do whatever the fuck you do. Before you do it again, let me know so I can take a picture. I'll take a picture with you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because business is good on this side, man. We're blessed, man. You hear me? Mm-mm. We can never be cursed. You heard? You know what I'm saying? We break all curses. Not over here, man. We blessed. You hear me, King? We're blessed, man. That's what blessed is. What you're seeing is blessing, man. You can never touch it, man. You're throwing rocks at the sun, Caprice. Why are you throwing rocks at the sun? You know, like, even me asking you, I mean, it's like, I mean, shit, I can't stop you, but, sir, how do you do that? You know, I mean, shit, is it looking that close to you? See? And delusion is another one, too. Society is based out of delusion. The minute you don't know who you are, you become ignorant. This is automatic. There's no if, but, in between, none of that. It's either you in or you out, dude. But when you do get in, I mean, you understand what it's like being out. But you can't be out and in, baby. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole idea. And that's why a lot of us, before we attain that highest level of consciousness, we have to grasp and understand the science of ignorance. And pretty much society being, that science is a pure representation of what the science of ignorance is, because it's not those rules are not there to teach you about who you are, not who I mean you the essence of who you are, but what they telling you, it's they telling you who you are instead of you seeing your essence. And that's where I'm here to set you free, niggas. That's why you have niggas like us. You know what I'm saying? That is in the world, but not of the world. That have escaped and understand that understanding and that has transcended it. That's when I am no longer either or, but I become the whole. Do you understand that? This is me, in other words, instead of being Democrat or Republican, I became both. When you ask me, hey, sir, excuse me, who am I? I'm going to tell you, I'm them gal, them sugar. When you ask me, sir, are you Democrat or Republic? I mean, I'm going to tell you, I'm them gal, them sugar. Why? And then you probably think, oh, you do you not give a fuck? Is that what this reason is? Do you think you better, or do you? What are you doing this in society? What am I bringing in? What am I doing? That is fine. I'm gonna answer that for you. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm said I was both, that it simply knows I accept the understanding of a Democrat, and I also accept the understanding of a Republican. And because I have accept both understanding, it gives me a greater understanding. And because I had now have a greater understanding, it makes me both. And also, it makes me neither one of them. I am neither one of them, but I'm also both of them. You let me know where should I vote. I already made my vote. You get it? Yeah, I voted. I voted. 2024, I already voted. Before it even started. When is the next election date? Whenever it is, I already voted. And when I'll vote again. I'll vote every day. I vote every day. Well, I know my rights. But again, our rights, will be different depending on the level of consciousness that you're aware of. And me being in the world, not of the world, it's me understanding what you're understanding, but understanding better than you because you are one sided. You only see the one side, you don't see the other side. That's why when you have a Democrat or a Republican perspective, it's always going to be is always going to be sided. I mean, how can you compare a side to a whole? But you're always the one who feels somehow you know. The feeling or just feeling like you know is just unbelievable. How do you sound so loud but you're insane shit? I guess it depends to who you're talking to. I get it. I ain't scared of none of you motherfuckers. I ain't scared enough. Y'all ain't scary enough. Fuck out of here. Well, go vote, motherfucker. And remember to pay your taxes, bitch. And here's something else, too. The misconception of people, too, is crazy. The delusion that they have in society is fucking crazy. And because you don't see yourself as being beyond what you look like, that's why Gucci determines who you are. So now you're living in a society where greed exists because you created that. The cause, the effect of worshiping idols when you're not worshiping God, which is inside of you. Oh, that act of it, listen, it goes a long way. And there's years and years of despair as people are delving and delving more into the abyss of the abyss. So now that's when you become materialist now. Niggas are holding fucking money as fucking fun. Now when it got to, I mean, shit, that's not insanity for you. That's not delusional to you. Meanwhile, life it's more than just fucking money. This shit is crazy. It fucking is. That's insanity. Is it not? That's delusional. But you can see because you don't have the inner vision. Even the little bit that you think you see, you don't even see it. You don't even understand how money works. And money's right in front of you. Just like when I was talking about the whole Cat Williams, I mean, check out my last recording. I don't remember what it was, but when there was a part in it I was talking about the whole Cat Williams shit. Like the number of views that he gets, niggas are acting like he's talking about something new. I mean, how different is that incident that's happening in Hollywood with your Walmart job? And if you work in corporate, this is just to show you that the bullshit. I mean, go ahead and be Monique at your fucking job. You know what I'm saying? Would you not want to pay your money, your car? How would you maintain the position that you have at home, the house that you're driving? You're gonna have the encouragement to be right, or do you just, get along to go along, or do you go along to get along? If this is not insanity to you, I mean, I understand. Well, that's the level of how much you're sleeping too. You're snoring out here. I mean, this is emergency. Like that's how much insanity I see. So I'm not of that world, and I can speak of it too because I was once in it. I got myself out. You know what I'm saying? And all you gotta do is tweak your vision. It's for you to know you are the beholder. In other words, from that dualistic perspective that separates, put the two together. Understand good and bad. It's just two sides of the same coin. Why? Because anything that is good can also be bad. Why? Because anything that is bad can also be good. Hmm. Then, if that's the case, that's perspective. So now that's what you have. Then now you have, when I was talking about a dualistic, then now this, your society becomes a battlefield. Now you have the people who would like to free others, or the people that thinks society's not fair. Now you have your Candace Owens, no shot intended, no nothing. All I'm saying here, I'm trying to point you to so you understand what's happening in front of you. So you have people within the system that is fighting against each other because they have a dualistic perspective. They're saying this is not this, and the other one is saying this is this. Or the other one is saying this is this, the other one is saying this is not fair, this is what's happening, it's not right, this is what you're doing to our society today. Da, 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 da. And I'm just looking at this shit. Now, respectfully, everybody's doing God's work. If that's where you are on your level of consciousness, if that's where you're able to see, well, by all means, I mean, you wouldn't understand what I'm saying anyway. So, I mean, again, this is for the living. If you got offended, well, oops. And when you become a listener, or when you know this is the, because I speak for the great listeners, or for the livings, or when you become a living, then it all makes sense to you. Not just that. Then you understand. That's why you have compassion. But it's just everything is a dualistic thing, and greed. I mean, will develop. I mean, that's a normal effect. Why you think that's why it's then you have it? Of course, man. What do you think is gonna happen? You gonna want to keep up with the Joneses. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? That's what makes sense. Then now your self-image becomes your self-esteem. Now it's the men that now it's the clothes that makes the men. And this is crazy. And when you are so delusional, you think it's the clothes that makes you. If that was the case, why do you think they pay models to actually wear certain clothes, man? What do you think they pay models? And these niggas get paid very well. If you're a model or you're getting some clothes or you're sponsoring whatever some of the they eating very well. And that is a business too. Because it's never the clothes that is the clothes. It's the men that has always made the clothes. Because if that was the case, they would have sold you the clothes all by his fucking self, or get an ugly motherfucker and put that clothes on it, and show me that the clothes somehow changes the look of that ugly motherfucker. So I'm saying just that to say, no matter how low you wanna, you don't even see what's, what's in front of you. But how can you? Because you're not looking at it correctly. So out of that society, greed, jealousy, and hate. Oh my God, here's another one. Of course, man. Now the idea of a hate, it's always gonna be the idea, why not me? How come it's him? Or you got to secretly compete with somebody. Wow. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I've been, I've had a couple of stints. Like, wow. What can I say? I mean, I don't even know what to say. Oh, is this normal? Is this even a thing? It's like that's why I have nothing to say. I mean, I don't even just know if I should flatter it, because is that a thing for me to flatter? First of all, I mean, I'm just trying. I'm trying to get to the part. I'm trying to identify what the fuck that is. How do you not follow you? Like, first of all, I mean, of course, I understand why you like that, but it's still mind blowing. This is just showing you the fucking how delusional the shit is in itself, and to show you how blinded, and that's what ignorant is. You see, like a lot of you are, you know how to. I mean, you want to sound smart. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I would never ever want to sound smart if I'm not being smart. I will only sound smart. I promise. I will only sound smart if I'm smart. Otherwise, I don't want it, because I just don't see the point in it. That's how my mind works. I must be insane. I don't get it. That's not even smart in itself, to just sound smart and not even being smart. Like, I mean, isn't it being smart is about the results, the benefit? Why doing it for? So the level of delusion, of delusions that comes with, society, and all of that pretty much comes from because you're not knowing who you are, your essence, now leads you to a blinded world. And within that world, that's when you have the good and bad. Obviously, you have the duality. Then you also have the people within that world now. And that's what you have. I don't know, left ring, left, right. It's always red, blue. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck. Up and down. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit. These niggas got a lot going on, man. Like, that is a world. Like, once you get to see it for what it is, or when you see yourself more. Again, I hope you also get what we're doing here is not bash. It's not saying fuck the world. It's not saying none of that. In fact, the world has nothing to do with that, and we understand that because this is ignorance. It's nothing. That's why our level of consciousness becomes different. That's why for the ones who always were conscious, Earth was never an issue for us. We were never concerned. While other people are saying this is prison, that's what I was telling you about. The left and the right ring, the Republican and the fucking Democrat. While you arguing about that, you know what I'm saying? That is suffering. Do you see what I'm saying? That's that duality. That is that world. The wise ones. We were never. We are the true Illuminati. That's why for me, I get fucking. This is hypothetically speaking, but even when people are talking about the fucking Illuminati, like you're talking about insane people. Do you understand what you're saying? Like Illuminati, like what are they doing that's illuminated? Or that's illuminating. Do you understand what you're saying? It's like you putting the point where there's no I, my but buddy. That's a fucking A, man. That's an E. You don't put the I right there. Like you don't even have a little bit of like, wow, okay, let's be a little bit conscious here. Okay, we're gonna wake up today, right? Just a little bit conscious. Just a little bit. That's all we got to do. So, again, the whole idea was never and is and never will be, as an act of separation or to to display superiority or, as a sign or trying to get you to escape this world. Because and here's something else too. I must add this because as part of our nature, for us to manifest anything, we have to become that. That's why you want to change your life. You change your thinking. You have to become your thinking, and you become your thinking and how you manifest in your actions, in your way of thinking. That's what your thinkings are ultimately. If you're not conscious about it, tomatoes, tomatoes. Because you creating your own world regardless. That's why, they say, especially when we talk about that world where, that's where karma is. Because karma is not against you. That's why they say, I don't know if it's in Hinduism or is it the Buddhist, but they talk about the judge of the judge of death. You know what I'm saying? It does not condemn anybody. All they did is showing you what you did. The judge, we do say he's condemning you, but in reality, hey, buddy, man, I'm just telling this. That's what you did. You know what I'm saying? This is the mirror of your conscience. That's what karma is. But some people sometimes, when they get away with shit, they think they doing good, but not understanding there are I mean, you making your shit worse. The harder you go, the harder you gonna fall. And that's what my mama. No, that's what my grandmama. You hear me, Caprice? That's what my grandmama. Yeah, shit. I swear to God, that's what my grandmama. I put all my being on that because she put all of her being on me. Oh, you best believe. Come on, man. Listen, everybody's on this case. You had no clue. You thought I was by myself, huh? I was a trap. They thought I isolated. I was a trap. I was trapping you. Look back again. You know, man? Go back and reprocess it. Learn your lesson. But anyway, I mean, again, going back to society, I mean, there is so much that can be said, but even for us to normalize certain things and look at us as a society, the type of image that we are. I mean, again, all of that it derives of, there's a lack of self. You know what I'm saying? We don't promote that kind of stuff. And because you don't do that, well, that's the world that you're living in, my friend. And us understanding and not being of that world is not because we're not better, but we understand. We have a greater understanding. In fact, you living in that world, you probably didn't even see it that way. Well, don't worry. That's what ignorant is. And again, that's why I have no other choice but to become. I mean, I gotta have compassion for you, not because I had to or you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's not because I had to, but it's like it's the right thing to do too. Like what the fuck? How you be mad at stupid motherfuckers? Like, come on, man. Like it's like being mad at a fucking kid. Like, yeah, I didn't like what you did, but you a kid. That's why I can never be part of fucking like. How do I be part of stupidity? Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, that would be another way of saying, okay, how am I going to be part of stupidity? Why? Why would I even want that? You know what I'm saying? Is that a question? You know, excuse me. Is that even a question? I mean, you see, but we normalize a lot of shit. And that's where your mind, obviously, when you're toxic, you don't know that you're toxic. I know for me, it took up to maybe I was 23 and 24 to understand I came from a dysfunctional family. So that means all this life, all along, today's my birthday. See, I mean, all this time I was sleeping, you know what I'm saying? And not just that, that I had to wake up again, but 20 something years later to be like, oh, that's not my family. What the fuck? It's whoa. It's like whoa, dude. Whew, I'm a cool ass nigga. I done deal with some shit. Or I had to deal with some shit. Or those are my shit. Hey, that's the hand I was given. Oh, but I'm making the best out of it though. That I put my life on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we became successful. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what greater story can there be? Because that story in itself is the Christ consciousness. That's why this is for the glory. This is the glory in itself. Oh, this is history, baby. Come on, man. Come on, man. You tell me how I look, baby. I put in my own work. You know what I'm saying? You can't sell it the way I tell it. You can never do that. It's my story, nigga. Niggas stealing my identity. Yo, this is one of the greatest stories ever told. The lie, not knowing my family. This is crazy. Listen. That's a story in itself. You know what I'm saying? And I signed off on it. Do you see what I'm saying? Listen, man, I'm way ahead of my time, man. You'll get it in due time. But it's also a transition in time for me too. Being able to listen, man. Listen, man. You make sure you do your prayers. You acknowledge your ancestors, and you give your thanks. All right. Keep being good, baby. Because that's what we represent. That's what we're here for. But at the same time, it's hey, the point here. Listen, you got to become that. And as I was saying, fuck the whole society shit. But the point that I wanted you to get before I jump back, because I love where I'm going with this, but I wanted to summarize that so we could, close it off and kick it to the side and do all that shit. Of course, we understand it's not out of hate. When that statement, it's actually a statement of compassion. It's a statement of love. So if you're thinking of love, you better think of that statement. In the world, you know what I'm saying, but not of the world. Oh, that's lovely. But anyway, going back to the whole society, again, what we're saying, even when we're talking about Hollywood, a lot of people were looking at Hollywood, but nigga, it's your regular problem, man. I mean, that's you. Come on, man, stop. It's the bigger issue. It's like, what the problem. How about solving the problem? And that's pretty much what society does. We wear a mask and we mostly do it. A lot of people, we do it to maintain our position. You stay quiet. You didn't see this. It's that hypocrisy. It's that, oh my God, it's ugly. Everything about it is ugly. Come on, let's face it, man. I mean, if that's not insanity. I mean, bro, like, whoo. I get it. That's what I have to deal with. If you can't even see that. So that's what a true living corpse definitely is, and that's what we call ignorance, and that's what we have in compassion for. Like, hey man, like, yeah, what are you expecting from that? Come on, man. I mean, you want to cry over spilled milk? Come on, milk is spilled, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? It's like you were not able. I mean, you can't drink it. It's not drinkable. You know what I'm saying? It's like let's just say a bitch have a pussy. But she also got AIDS. It's like you're just no good. You like no good at all. How about you got pussy, you got STD, cancer, like you're just no good. Like your free pussy, it's like have no values. In fact, if anybody were to take that, it would take away from that person. Like you just a disease. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. Mm-mm. Now I understand what they mean by a piece of shit. like I never. Oh, you a piece of shit. Like, damn. Yeah, you a piece of shit. I'm not sure if anybody would want that. it's not. It's not wantable. Like, what can you do with it? Wow. And that's what discussing is too. Oh man, that's ugly. Like, whew, damn. You love who? Hootie who? Fuck out of here. Yeah, what? Get the fuck out of here. Doesn't make sense. To do what? To do what? You see what I'm saying? It's like a girl trying to give you a like a pussy with AIDS. Like, who wants that? You know what I'm saying? With mileage and all that shit. Like, what? Do you see what I'm saying? If that's not insanity, what is? Do you see what I'm saying? And that's why too. And I wanted to say this, and I think I'm gonna say that and just close it up here. Um, I can't recall who I was listening to, but essentially, oh, what the fuck, man, I lost the idea. But anyway, again, you know, that's why it's important for us to maintain a sane perspective. We have to understand, and we also have to understand the science of ignorance. But most importantly, we have to understand society. And out of society now, you have to understand, you know, we have, you know, your teachers and all that shit, you know, people who have adopted that mentality out of it. And that's why you see in so many different levels, it's basically the same shit, but in different levels. That's why the same shit Cat Williams talking about. Guess what, man? That shit's happening at your job, my nigga. You know, and in fact, you don't want to be a Monique at your job. You know, so the society that you're living in, and that's where there's always a dualistic, there's always a war, there's no harmony. You know, I mean, and that's what you're dealing with. There's always deceivers versus people who want to tell the truth. And that's what you're seeing. People who are fighting over, you know, it's really confusion. It's confusion. A lot of confusion is delusional. You know, that's why when you live in that world and you see it from that perspective, you have no self satisfaction. It's always anxiety. It's greed. It's hatred. It's delusions. It's just it's the land of the lost. And the more you delve into it, you know, there's more crime, and you know, people are fighting for power. It's for position, and shit. Why the fuck not? Niggas are sucking dick for it too. Like, that's it's all the production of. I mean, it's this is who you deal. This is who and what you're dealing with. This is having an understanding of the culture. This is your society. Again, I mean, and then now you have the opposition, what you could call religion, tomatoes, tomatoes. And you could tell that even the people who are part of any type of religion is also fighting themselves because they have to be in opposition of these people. Because the minute you have to be in front of anybody else, again, you automatically walk away from you. That's why when you find you, how do you be? You can never be in competition. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. Like, yeah, man. It takes time for me to be me. All right. I can't be in two places at the same time. I mean, when if we're gonna be two places at the same time, it's gonna have to be me at all times. And listen, man, and that's part of consciousness. I mean, not just part. I mean, shit. That's that's consciousness at its best. And that's when now you understand you are your creator, and this is now you partake in your mental construction because you are the God you can build or destroy. And now you expending yourself, and as part of your expansion, that's why you got to choose your God wisely. I sin, Mali.